This is Benjamin St. Jude's, defensive back for the Washington Commanders.
Oh, yeah, Devin the Dude here. Yo, check this out, man. You tune in to the Mitchell Hour, baby. Yeah, hosted by Julius. And much love, Devin.
Yeah, young mouth for the loadies. And I want y'all to tune in to this dope-ass podcast, man. Shout out Julius, man. But we gonna tune in to the Mitchell Hour, baby. Hottest podcast in the game, baby. They drop weekly. They discuss hip-hop, sports, current events, and politics, man. So if you're looking for the groove in the news, man, go fuck with the Mitchell Hour, man. And tell them Yuck Mouth sent you, my nigga. Stay tuned in, keep it logged in, and stay mobbing. Julius, what up? Yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of the Mitchell Hour.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode of the Mitchell Hour. I'm a little late with this one, but as long as it's getting out, that's all that matters. But before I get into what I want to talk about today, I want to play for y'all a little clip that I think is very fitting of our discussion today.
Said it. Authenticity. It revolve around the truth, telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? Nobody want to hear somebody lie to them. You know what I mean? We don't, no matter how clever it is and how, technically dope it is, we wanted to start with being the truth. So, you know what I mean? I think that everybody has a value, an artistic value. You just got to mind yourself for it, you know what I'm saying? And the quickest way to do that is just look at the facts and just revolve around the facts, in my experience, you know what I mean? So I would just say, keep it honest. Keep it as close to the truth as you can, even if it's unpopular, you know what I mean?
So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to get started with this episode. So with this episode, rich ones still envy. Rap, hip hop, whatever you want to call it. These are people so-called, that were young, came from nothing, didn't have any money, and they got money. But did it make anything better? I really want you guys to think about that. We have all these rappers with all this money, but they're worrying about another person with money. They're worrying about what people with no money think about them. It's not, like Nipsey said, it's really not an authentic form anymore. There's no authenticity. You have multimillionaires. By the way, you know who made these rappers multimillionaires? The consumers. We did. By feeding into their lies, feeding into this persona of being what they portray to be in their rap songs. I think Future said it. Future said, I don't do the drugs that I rap about in my music, but I want to make you feel like you're on those drugs. That's not being authentic. Turning a lot of young African-American, young Hispanic, young white people onto drugs that you don't do yourself because you talk about these drugs is a horrible thing. So, rich ones still envy. What does that mean? Well, from the title, what I was trying to do is get everybody to look at the title, play on Fat Joe's Jealous Ones Still Envy, and just look at it that most of human beings are just really fucked up individuals. They make it think about this. When you're growing up, what do you think about? Being rich, being famous, being successful. But being rich and famous and successful, if you're not a secure enough person in who you are, being rich, being famous, and having all these other people around you, if you're not secure within who you are as a person, all that does is intensify your problems that you've had. But if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I really want you to think about how many rap artists have gotten their fame, gotten recognition, but end up getting killed. End up getting killed by another rapper. End up getting killed by somebody they were beefing with from a place that they were so far removed from that that person shouldn't even been close to them. It shouldn't have been on their radar. But as human beings, we want validity. We want people to look at us and think we're something that we're not. Kendrick said it the best in one of his songs. He said, the tattoos, the jewelry, the watches, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't really change who we are. All it is a mask for what you're going through. The toxic masculinity. Most of these people are not even like that for real. No, like really think about that. Most of these people are not like that. But most of the time, the fans feed into these beefs and these dramas. And it feeds the ego of an already big ego from a person. Nicki Minaj, Lotto, Moneybagg Yo, 2 Chainz, Gucci Mane. They all have these really big egos that we feed into. But it's not our fault all the way, It's not our fault all the way. Because most of these artists, they weaponize their fans and then play the victim. Nicki does that all the time with these, what do you call them, barbs? They have went after a lot of different artists. They have actually went at people that are not even famous. Just somebody that has a unpopular opinion maybe, or somebody that has a popular opinion, but the popular opinion is coming from somebody that, they might not, look at like, okay, your opinion doesn't matter. Who are you? You're broke. And that's one thing that a lot of these rappers, these so-called influencers say. They say, get your money up. You can't talk to me, you broke. But that's the thing. We live in a society where most of the time money validates you. Not human decency, not having morals, money. Money can be taken away. Who you are as a person, how valid you are, your morals and principles that you stand on, those can't be taken away from you. You being famous and being an influencer, that can all be taken away. You understand what I'm saying? You got to look at all these different people that we look up to, that our kids on YouTube, you know what I'm saying, that these people that they look up to, these athletes, these artists. That's why with me, what I do is I don't let my kids get on like YouTube and all that like for hours and hours in a day. I try not to, because sometimes you don't really know all what your kids are doing. But rich ones still envy. What does that mean? Rich ones still envy. You get on social media, you get on Facebook, Instagram, and you portray a life that you're not really living. And these artists, these musical artists, are really jealous of you and I. I know you're thinking like, nigga, what are you talking about? How can a multi-millionaire be jealous of a regular person like you and I? But this is what I want y'all to understand. These rappers, these actors, these actresses, these social media influencers, they work so hard to get out of a life that they don't want. To still argue with the people that they tried so hard to get away from. Think about how many people commit suicide a year, right? Then I want you to really think about over the last several years, how many people that have committed suicide have been rich and famous. Phyllis Hyman, she committed suicide. Robin Williams committed suicide. Heath Ledger committed suicide. Chris Farley committed suicide. But these were people that were rich and famous. But they're envious of who we are, because when money is not the focal point of your life, you tend to be more happier. I interviewed R.O.S.E-Rich a year ago. And one thing he said was, I'm like, yo, what advice can you give to a person that is, just an up-and-coming artist, an up-and-coming comedian, or whatever? Like, what can you do? What advice can you give that person? He said, if you are a sensitive person, if you don't have tough skin, he said this show business, being famous, is not for you. And I was listening to his podcast actually yesterday, and he said the same thing. He said, if you're a person that need to be validated by an individual that you don't know, if you're a person that feels like you need that, how much money you have and everything really matters to you, show business is not for you. Because what people fail to understand is this: money doesn't make your problems go away. Being rich doesn't make your problems go away. It intensifies it. When people get money, it really makes them show who they've been all along. You got Cardi B and Nicki Minaj had some issues. They both came from New York. They both came from places where they didn't have a lot of money, and they had to do certain things, to get money that they really, really didn't want to do. Cardi talks about it in explicit detail. And a lot of people that think that she should be in jail for that. Now, I'm not going to get into whether she should be in jail or not. That's not why I'm here. But I'm here to show you guys that money is not going to make your problems go away. How many rich and famous people do we see in the media every day doing crazy, stupid things? Kanye West is in the media right now by saying some things that people don't agree with. But everybody's entitled to their opinions. But I think what we need to do as human beings that can read and write and understand things that are being thrown out to us in different clips, When you see a clip that you don't agree with, run back, watch the whole thing, and that will make you understand. Okay, but to get back to the point I was making, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, both came from humble upbringings to be very successful African American women, or African American and Hispanic women, right? They did some things that they're not proud of. Like I said, Cardi B talks about that in explicit detail. Right? Nicki Minaj, I'm not really exactly sure what she's been through other than, she grew up, broke and everything. And then she got co-signed by Cash Money, Birdman, Lil Wayne, and everybody. But my point is this. Rich ones still envy. They are rich and famous, but still beefing with each other and jealous of each other's success. Instead of celebrating each other, they are beefing, putting hands on each other, getting security, and weaponizing their fans. But we feed into that as fans. But what does envy mean? A feeling of being discontented or resentful, longing or aroused by someone else's possessions, qualities, or luck. Desire to have a quality possession or other desirable attributes belonging to someone else. Rich ones still envy. Think about that. Rich ones still envy. There are people that are multimillionaires that are jealous of someone that has the same or less than. But us as fans, we are weaponized. We are weaponized. When Drake and Meek Mill were going through their little situations, both of them multimillionaires, we pick sides. The Biggie and Pac beef. A lot of y'all people probably don't even know that because y'all young. But I grew up on Biggie and Tupac and NWA. Right? But what happened? Something got totally blown out of proportion, and both of them are no longer here because of weaponized of blocks and cultures that we don't even really own. Rich ones still envy. Jealous of something that another person has. Another person's possessions. You understand what I'm saying? I really want you guys to really understand that. You understand what I'm saying? I really want you guys to really understand what I'm saying. Rich ones still envy. These people with all this money are still going back and forth with people who don't matter, who shouldn't matter. So let's talk about this Nicki Minaj and Lotto situation. Lotto is an up-and-coming artist. Well, I can't even say up-and-coming because she's really been shutting shit down. She's been doing her thing. Nicki Minaj, everybody knows who Nicki Minaj is. She's co-signed by Drake, by Lil Wayne, by Birdman. You know what I'm saying? She's solidified as to what she's put in this game. These young girls, they idolize her. She's had, most number ones by a female artist over the last decade. Rich ones still envy. She's rich, multimillionaire, but she is jealous and envious of a young girl, 23-something years old, that is really taking over the airwaves. But fans weaponize that type of situation, that type of drama. But let's listen.
Doing something like
what's happening now. You know it's wrong. And
being a Karen is more about being manipulative and being passive aggressive, and knowing that
being a fed.
Right. Thank you. But look, this is an example. It's a great example if you think about it. And white people and white women have used it for years, and that's why the term was created. If a white woman living in a white neighborhood sees a black man, and this goes back for years and years, if that woman accuses that black man of doing something, she knows that when that white police officer comes, he gonna arrest that black man. Because
now, this is what I want you guys to understand about that clip, right? The thing about that clip is Nicki Minaj is talking about being a Karen. She's calling Lotto a Karen. Lotto didn't say anything about Nicki Minaj. Big Energy is a song that Lotto won an award for. Okay? So what Nicki wants to do is go on Queen Radio, say these things, weaponize her fan base, but when the younger, more popular, more poppin' young lady responds, then Nicki goes back, weaponizes her fan base, and acts like she never said anything to Cardi. She never said anything to Remy. She never said anything to Little Kim. But everybody attacks her. Rich ones still envy. Why is Nicki Minaj sitting down in her office? She's a mother. She has a child. But why is she sitting down with all her accomplishments thinking about a younger girl who is right now popping? Why? Because rich people can still be envious. Money doesn't solve all your problems. Money doesn't solve all your problems. But for some reason, we will see all these different things from all these famous individuals, and we will think that, oh, I want to get rich and famous. I want to get rich and famous. I want what they have. But realize that these people are still very, 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 very unhappy with who they are.
Clearly delusional.
it's delusional to say that other girls are flourishing.
Something that's stupid and misinformed.
It's
I'm the one acting crazy.
it's delusional to say that other girls are flourishing.
We're not being
Recognize we weren't giving the platforms that we're being given right now.
What platforms have you got?
And I give you props all the time in every other interview for opening the door for that to be a possibility now.
Saying that, okay. So what, in conclusion, what do you think you wanna say about, let's let you finish your statement about what rappers were doing before and what they're doing now. I want you to finish it.
I finished it, Nikki.
Okay.
I said for a long time it was you.
It was me.
Yes,
So
and
you
your
didn't do your research.
what
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have somebody send you the information about all the women in the last 10 years who have had Billboard recognition, worldwide global recognition.
You know what's funny about that last statement that Nikki said? She's gonna have someone send Lotto information about the people that came before her. In the last 10 years, with all their major accomplishments on the Billboard and everything, right? But really think about this. Nicki have been known to beef with a lot of female artists that came before her. A lot of female artists that came before her. And you know what I realize about a lot of people is with me just sticking to myself, not having a lot of people around me because people are fraudulent. I really sit back and I monitor things. I monitor people. I monitor situations, right? And one thing that I realize a lot of the times is that these people really 100% think that they're never wrong. They never want to sit down and hear two sides. They want people to hear both sides, their side and another side. That's why people rush to get things out because they want to. Like, let's be honest. In the world now, the person that says the last thing is the side that people take. And you're like, well, why are you worried about this? Why are you worried about that? Females in a rap game already don't get enough love. They already don't get enough love. Female hip hop is never glorified. Well, at least the ones that I think should be glorified. The promiscuous, whorish, over sexualized lyrics, yes. Those really get glorified. But you know what does get the most media attention? What just overshadows the Grammys, overshadows the BET Awards, the American Music Awards? Beef. Rich ones still envy. Why are multimillionaires beefing with each other? You know what has just cut all this shit out? Lotto, Nicki jump on a song together. Is that going to happen? I doubt it. You know why? Because us as fans weaponize. We're weaponized. We feed the ego of these artists. We feed the ego of different people. Things are never going to change. Really want y'all to think about this, man. Have you ever had any type of problem with a person? That person wants to be right. You want to be right. But it could have been based off of something, just a small, minuscule situation that got blown out of proportion because people didn't sit down and listen to one another. Rich ones still envy. Money doesn't solve all your problems. And these artists are not the people that you think they are. And let's be honest, fans of rap, fans of gospel music, fans of country music, fans of rock and roll. A lot of these beefs that were taken too far were because of us. Because we idolize people that are nobodies. We idolize people because they have money, not knowing that when these people have money, they have the same problems as we do. They might not have to live paycheck to paycheck. I would rather live paycheck to paycheck and be happy than be a millionaire and be unhappy. That's really all I had to say. Rich ones still envy. Rose. Money doesn't make you happy. You got to be happy with yourself before you can make anybody else happy. You got to be happy with yourself before money or anything else can make you happy. Because like I said, like I told you guys, I had an interview with R.O.S.E-Rich a year ago. And he said it. If you're a weak individual, this ain't for you. Rich ones still envy. Money intensifies the person that you are. It doesn't change you. If you're an asshole, you know what millions to do? Make you more of an asshole. If you're insecure, you know what money does? Make you a person that's insecure with money. In closing, only thing I'm going to say is this. Money is great to have. Great to have. But you know what? If you don't get yourself together as a person, having money will make you go crazy. Material possessions. Think about that. Material possessions. We look up to it. Status is how much stuff you have, how many followers you have, how many likes you get on a post. Those videos that you like, those little hashtags, relationship goals. But most of those relationships are really unhappy. They just post the happy parts or the so-called happy parts. Don't be envious of people that you don't know nothing about. Focus on your happiness. And what I mean, your happiness on making yourself happy. Because nobody else is going to make you happy until you're happy with who you are. Until next time, Mitchell Hour, we're out.
Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. And until then,